Top 10 Facts: Aliens. Considering the unfathomable volume of planets, galaxies, and stars in the almost without hesitation, we may state that definitely, there is life on other worlds. Unless we are able to demonstrate that. Point being, there is that remote possibility. There is no one present, however, when. Alternatively, what if we ever encounter aliens? Will they behave as clearly we cannot? Though we may only speculate with caution. Looking at is a fantastic place to start. What we as humans should do when we discover we have new land residents and or wildlife never previously experienced. Good for. Consider the time when Christopher North America was originally discovered by Columbus. Not exactly a happy ending for the Native Americans are mostly present. In the past, people have conquered and seized over resources and land, so if aliens that discovers Earth or anything human-like, it's probably going to go extremely wrong in the end. But for us, there's another thing to think about. Whether extraterrestrials possess the technology for possibly interstellar travel. Even extraterrestrial travel, they might not be extremely curious about us and from their view of our very basic world. Neil deGrasse Tyson used it to describe it. Fantastic comparison that you should not ignore. Purchase a worm and consider its thoughts. Or make an effort to get in touch with it. You may either ignore it or tread on it. Worm, or if ever there were aliens. Locate Earth, or maybe they already have. Maybe just too basic for them to even think about getting in touch with us. You may also see this from a different angle. Considering that people are, let's say, about 100 years have passed since then, technologically, than we are at the moment. The visiting aliens were more primitive worlds, and this isn't that, to be honest, improbable. Just consider how much we grow more technologically sophisticated, argues. It only took the Industrial Revolution once. We have around 3 generations left. From having little to no electricity to how did you get access to this video? The internet at the moment. So what? What would a highly developed human? If we discovered a primitive, what would civilization do? Had genuine life on another planet. A way of traveling, there is something. The zoo hypothesis, which claims that disregards intelligent extraterrestrial life in order to permit natural evolution on Earth and basically, cultural development. Examine us from a distance, maybe studying us, are purposefully avoiding us because they do not want to interfere with our growth as a species, and it's probably, if we could, humanity would act similarly. Stumbled across such a circumstance in. It's feasible that life will exist in the future. Might occur on Venus in the bacterium or a very tiny object. Yet what's intriguing about life is still, though, is that it wouldn't appear on the surface, which has a temperature of 460 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, in the clouds, far up in the circumstances were in the Venusian atmosphere. The age of are really quite welcoming. The wide array of things in the cosmos. According to the stars, unless the Earth is unique, life should exist in the cosmos. Nonetheless, there is anything referred to as a contradiction known as the Fermi paradox. Makes the case that if there are such high estimations of the amount of life in the cosmos were the fundamental idea of the, it seems paradoxical that our kid is so young and somewhat standard stars are. There are billions of stars in the universe. Surely years older in this galaxy alone. Earth-like planets may be found in several of these stars. Worlds, if they use the Earth as an example. Several of these planets have grown advanced life. A couple of these civilizations, at least, ought to have created the means for, even if they could travel between stars, have an extremely slow interstellar travel mechanism. The whole galaxy may be explored. In only a few tens of millions, colonized. Even if it may not seem like much. The way some of these civilizations function. Conceivably been around for billions of years. The timeline is nothing, so where are we now? Does everyone, even if it seems impossible, there is a chance that Earth is the lone planet. Is one of the few planets in the solar system. Universe containing advanced life forms. The rare Earth theory is what it is termed. Argues that since the creation of life emerged on Earth after a lengthy process. Occurrences in geology and astrophysics. Such cosmic randomness but so important. It's doubtful that it will have a particular anything else in the cosmos occurred. So there's a possibility we actually are by themselves on November 6, 1991. James Scott II, an astronomer, found a odd thing discovered in 1991. The NEO or nearby asteroid is has a relatively small diameter of 6 to 12, a highly challenging orbit similar to the Earth's, to justify being derived from natural sources. This essentially gets rid with the potential presence of a man-made item. Object also undergoes very quick modifications, which has prompted many people to assume brilliance. It could have artificial origins. During his subsequent visit, we'll be certain. 2016 saw a 2016 near encounter to the Earth. A group of meteorite hunters discovered a now known meteorite as Allen Hills 84001. It was launched off of Mars' surface and crashed on Earth around 4.5 billion years ago. Earth 13,000 years ago, there was no celebration, due to the possibility that the meteorite fossilized bacteria and other microorganisms from Mars, which may imply that it is the first solid proof of extraterrestrial life. Yet, despite the rigorous tests of scientists studying meteorites are dubious whether or if the rock's forms are accurate, genuine Martian bacterial fossils. Each year, hundreds of reports of UFOs are made. Obviously, UFO stands for unidentified aircraft. That does not implies that its source must be artificial, and one explanation may account for 90% of situations. Meanwhile, the other is yet unclear. 10% are in fact intriguing, as is the example of an occurrence that occurred over in 1942, Los Angeles, now known as the. In the Los Angeles battle, a huge UFO would really fly in the air over the city and observed by thousands of spectators. Even has photographs of the incident. A second time, given that this was just outside the Pearl Harbor in World War II. The soldiers had been assaulted in harbor. Hurriedly shone flashlights at the target, worrying that there may soon be another assault. After their first dismissal, they even issued use fighter aircraft to engage in combat. Despite nothing, the item was struck by the UFO. The button does not seem to register the. If there was any damage, it continued to hover the city with constant military presence, attempting to pull it down, then disappearing. Following their disappearance, the US Air Force accused a weather balloon for the incident. If you do that, you won't live long. Durance's Caucus Radio, a 2002 discovery of a microorganism that resist, among other things, huge. How much radiation this kind of? On Earth, resistance is unheard of because a number of billions of years too many people to think that this microorganism from which my ideas have sprung. There is something known as the from Earth. A formula called the Drake equation is used to supposedly determine how many extraterrestrial civilizations that are operating in the Milky. How the galaxy functions is something like as initial average star formation rate, year in our galaxy, then the percentage, the average number of stars with planets, several worlds that may be able to sustain life, the percentage of life that can continue, maintain life to the extent that it is possible, so as to enable intelligent life, the number of civilizations that create a technology that is observable from space, how long such civilizations have existed, send recognizable signals towards space. This then would provide you with the number, the civilizations in our galaxy that it would be feasible to communicate, but as you can see, the majority of these elements, wholly or partially unknown, and by adjusting only one variable slightly, may produce quite different outcomes. Hence, the majority of what I discussed in this video, and what you learn about extraterrestrials in general should be regarded with caution. Salt, since they are only theories, and unless we discover some trustworthy proof, there is no way to determine just the frequency or rarity of life on other planets. Really are. You